All right, Jesus Godoy and I have decided that we're going to do our top 10 wrestlers of all time. Elbow from the sky! Will he make the list? Jesus, I want to start with your honorable mentions. Who are they?
All right, this is going to be awesome. All right, I have 3 total, but one was a tag team. It was when it was Yokozuna, the big fat sumo wrestler from Japan, and it was him and the Tugboat. These big, giant, fat guys that would, like, their finishing move was to pull them to the corner and just sit on one of the guys. So that was pretty fun.
That's awesome.
So that was one of my honorable mentions. And the other guy was the Brooklyn Brawler. He'd be the guy that when you'd see an up and coming superstar, he'd be the guy they'd always fight first. And he'd always get his ass kicked. So
totally. Believe me, I got some of those guys on my list.
All right.
And for my, old school days, that was one of the guys was Iron Mike Sharp, who had the iron in his brace, and oh no! But then in the end, he'd lose to the really good guys.
Yeah.
But he didn't make my list. Yes.
So those were it. So
those are your honorable mentions.
3
Okay.
guys.
My honorable mention. Now you got to remember, I'm old school wrestling. Okay. Jesus is like middle school. He's not even new school, right? Big John Studd. That's the honorable mention. That dude, I mean, he was a mainstay for such a long time. And he beat a lot of dudes, and then eventually he'd lose to the top guy. And you'd be like, oh, Big John Studd goes down. I can't believe he slammed Big John Studd.
You'd almost like all those guys that would just, like, sacrifice not being in the limelight, not being liked, but taking the beating from the up-and-coming.
Right, but Big John Studd beat a lot of guys, though, to be fair to him.
The Brooklyn Brawler didn't. So.
Okay, all right. So my number 10 guy is George the Animal Steel. He'd go and he'd bite the turnbuckle and then he'd rip it open and then, oh, the animal got him. Come on, that guy was awesome. Who's your number 10 guy?
My number 10 guy was Jake the Snake.
Yeah,
awesome.
I love Jake the Snake.
He used to come in. He had this big fat belly that he didn't even look like an athlete almost. He wasn't cut up, and he was balding. He had just a slight wet hair on the sides and his stash. And it would always happen. He'd end up outside the ring and under the ring, or he'd come in with the sack, and he'd always throw a snake into the ring. And the opponent would always be surprised that he had a snake in the bag. So that would be awesome.
They're like, he's named Jake the Snake, and he's got a snake. I didn't see that coming.
Like once you see him going for the sack, you're like, he has a snake. Get ready for the snake.
Yeah, and what I loved about Jake the Snake was that you're right. He looked like a real hillbilly. Like, like the kind of guy that you'd actually be a little scared of.
Yeah.
If you ran into in West Virginia, you'd be like, oh, damn, that dude's got a snake.
Yeah.
So, number 9 for me, the Junkyard Dog. I loved when he came into Another One Bites the Dust. And then, of course, I'm the Junkyard Dog. So how do I not love Junkyard Dog? And he was one of the few black wrestlers, so I enjoyed that as well.
My number 9 is going to be the tag team of the Rockers. I remember the Rockers were these really flashy guys that would come in with like bright colors, but they had all the acrobatics down. They do the double elbows. It was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. Obviously, Shawn Michaels ended up going to a much longer career and much more recognition, I guess, whatever you want to call it. But I remember they'd have such good choreography, it seemed like they'd have these matching outfits. They were flashy, so
There's 2 kinds of tag teams. Like the badass tag teams like the Road Warriors, and then the acrobatic tag teams like the British Bulldogs. And like they'd be like smaller, but they'd be like, "Whoa, sick on at the same time, ski." So that's in that category, and I like that. All right, my number 8 guy is the only kind of new school guy I have because he was so freaking cool. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice.
Okay, first of all, somebody get me a beer.
Yep.
When I saw that, I got back into wrestling.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. And like Austin 316 means you just got your ass kicked. Come on. Who does that? That was freaking awesome. And his moves, I mean, come on. There's just no argument. If I was more new school, he'd be like number 2 on the list.
So my number 8 is also one of the fairly newer schools, which was The Rock. Obviously, everybody knows Dwayne Johnson, but obviously he started in career.
The Tooth Fairy?
Yeah, exactly. But back then, obviously, he came up and he used to do some very ridiculous moves. He used to come with the big sideways. He was really obnoxious at first, but he was like the gladiator. He won the crowd. and he was very entertaining. He would insult everybody, which was fun. And like I'm saying, he had a great career. I guess what I also admire is that he transitioned out of wrestling, so that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I hear you, and you're right. I don't know what it is, but I was also skeptical of The Rock when I first saw him. I'm like, oh, he ain't no Stone Cold, right? And with the eye thing.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It was a bit obnoxious.
You're right, but you know what? And then there was the People's Elbow.
Yeah.
And then there was a tall glass of Shut Up juice.
Yes. And it doesn't matter. He'd interrupt everybody with that.
Right. And Know Your Role. He was good. He didn't make my list, but maybe he should have. He was definitely solid in that sense. My number 7 guy. Now look, this guy's obviously too mainstream in a lot of ways, but the reality is, when I was a kid and you heard the song and he was coming in the ring and it was Saturday morning, you're like, I can't believe Hulk Hogan's gonna come into it. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't on every Saturday. He was like a big guy. And if you heard either in the beginning it was Eye of the Tiger or I Am a Real American, you were like, oh damn, he's coming. So I put the Hulk, and I wasn't quite a Hulkamaniac, but I put Hulk Hogan at number 7.
I'm surprised you have him so low, actually. But my number 7 was the Legion of Doom, actually, which is another tag team guys, which were the guys that came in. I guess they came out of the Road Warriors, I don't remember. But it was the guys with the big football pads, and they had the spikes coming out and the face paint. Like, they looked raw. Like, I didn't want to mess with those guys.
I think they are the Road Warriors. But they was just their new name.
Yeah, and I used to hate that they couldn't always kick the ass of the Rockers. I'm like, how do you not? You look so much better.
Yeah, I know, right? So the thing is, I didn't put Road Warriors on my list because they weren't in WWF for a long time when I was watching, but I would always hear about the Road Warriors in the other league. And you'd be like, oh, and there'd always be rumors like, the Road Warriors are coming. And you were like, damn, right? So I thought they were awesome. If I saw them more, I'd have them on the list. And Hulk Hogan, look, he's only at 7 because the leg drop, really? I mean, everybody loved the arm going down twice and oh, shit, here he comes, right? But the leg drop drops them down. The other guys were better characters, in my opinion. So that brings me to number 6. So who was better than Hulk? Sergeant Slaughter. When Sergeant Slaughter started whipping people, that's a common theme you'll see, okay? And that dude was a badass, man. Right. You were going to be in some trouble if Sergeant Slaughter got hold of you.
Yeah. My 6 is the Macho Man Randy Savage, which was so cool because of his voice. Like, you used to hear his voice. Like, you didn't even you didn't have to see his face. You could recognize the voice.
Yeah.
And also, he was the ultimate elbow from the sky for me.
Well, literally, he's the guy who did the elbow from the sky.
But a lot, like the Rockers did it, like 2 of them and everything. Like, they were nice choreography and all that. But Macho Man, when he did, he had the cool shades and everything. So it was cool.
When Macho Man turned on Hulk Hogan, that was awesome. But he still didn't make my list. So who's my top 5?
Hi, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Line rookie. Subscribe to TYT Sports.